going to start today. This is the first class. So in unit third, we have the memory management and storage management. Okay. So this topic is there. Title of the third unit is storage management. So we'll discuss this thing. So in this memory management, we will cover these topics. We will cover the basic background of the memory management. What is the requirement? Okay, how this memory helps in running the process. Then swapping concept, that is the virtual memory concept. Contiguous memory allocation means the memory, the processes, how the process will be allocated into the memory. Then we have the segmentation technique and paging technique for memory management, and some data structure for the page table is there. These concepts we will learn here in this unit, memory management. Okay, so now we'll know what are the things that we are going to cover and what is the objective. So we are going to learn here the description, a detailed description of the various ways of organizing memory, arranging the memory hardwares. Okay, and the second one is the memory management techniques. We're not having the one, we have the different variety of memory management techniques. Okay, that we will learn, and specifically we will cover the paging and segmentation techniques of memory management. Okay, these two techniques we will learn in detail, and later on we'll discuss just an introduction type. So now coming to the memory section. So we see in the computer we have the memories. First one is the primary memory, another one is the secondary memory. So in case of the primary memory, we have the RAM and we have ROM. So ROM is the ROM read-only memory, that is the non-volatile, and in that we again have the varieties like we have the PROM, EPROM, and EEPROM means this one, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. This one is the programmable read-only memory. Okay, and erasable programmable read-only memory. So we are not going to discuss this one. Our objective is to discuss the RAM, that is the random access memory. So in that two varieties, the static RAM and the dynamic RAM. So but our focus is completely over the RAM, that we will refer with this name memory only. So we'll see memory. Memory means we are discussing about the RAM only in our computer system. So how the RAM will help to run the program as a process. Okay, so this one we are going to discuss here. Okay, coming to the storage hierarchy. So what is the memory? If we say memory is a device which stores the data. Okay, for storage purpose we use this memory. And why we store? After storing the data, what we can do later on, we can retrieve. Okay, temporarily or permanently we can keep their data, and we can run the program in the memory. Okay, so this space we require, that we call the memory. So there is a hierarchy you can see here. So if we start from the beginning here, we can say this is the register memory. What is this? Cache and main memory, solid state disk that we call the SSD we have, magnetic disk, optical disk we have, and magnetic tapes are there. So there is some trend in this. We'll see here what is that. These registers are generally found here in CPU. So processor is there, in that we found the registers. Different register we can say we have the accumulator, stack pointer, okay, program counter. So many types of registers are there, general purpose registers are there. So these registers hold the data and instructions there. So this register may store the information in the range of KB. Okay, 1 KB like that. This type of this is the size the register can store. Okay, but this one is the register is very fastest in the sense CPU. What CPU does? CPU accesses the content. It reads the instruction or data from here, from memory. So memory, one thing is the register, it is the cache or anything. So for accessing the CPU, this memory, it takes the time. Okay, what it does, it takes the time for accessing the memory. So in that time, in that sense, register is a memory from where CPU can access the information very fast. Very fast is it can access the data. And next comes to the cache memory. Okay, so this cache memory resides between the register, CPU register, and the main memory that we call the RAM. Okay, so what happened, this is also used for the speed up the processing in the system, improve the performance. So what happens, register CPU, if it will access again the things from the main memory, so what will happen, it will take time, because accessing time from main memory is greater than the cache memory. So whatever frequently pages or the data or content you require, frequently you require, so those pages, those things can be kept here in the cache memory. So rather than accessing the things from here main memory, is the CPU will directly access from the cache frequently usable contents. Okay, so that we can reduce the memory reading from the main memory. And if any content is here or here, like if you go down like here na, so what will happen, the access time increases. If you go like this flow na, from top to down, so the access time of data from CPU to these locations, these memory location increases. Here the time is increasing. If you go down here, what is access time increasing? Access time is increasing. I think you may be understanding this one. This side, if you go, it is increasing. But if you go this side, so it is vice versa. And what is that? What is the another trend that we are seeing? If you go from this side to top, from bottom to top, the storage capacity, we say it is a capacity only. So storage capacity is decreasing. So like here, if you will see, magnetic disk will be having the more space. Okay, optical disc, like we have the CD, DVD, like this, like this. So if we focus here up to this one, so what is happening actually? Actually, the speed of the storage capacity is increasing. And if we talk in terms of the cache memory, okay, in terms of the cost, so which were more costly, register, then the cost is reducing like this. If you are coming down, so if you want to purchase 2 GB of memory, okay, that we call, if we say it is RAM, and the 100 GB of hard disk, okay, or you can say 1 TB hard disk. So 1 TB hard disk that contains the 24 this 1024 GB, you can purchase around 4,000 rupees only. Okay, and if you purchase this one 2 GB, so roughly if I say, you will be getting around 1800 or something. So you can see the difference. Okay, you can see the differences between the price and that one. So price is also, you are going down, then it is decreasing. Okay, so this is the hierarchy of the memory that we found in the computer system and their access speed. So I told here, registers capacity, you may think in terms of the here, what is, how much you can think here, you can think here in the KB, you can think it in MB. Okay, 16 MB, 17 MB, like that. This space will come. So you have seen this can range up to 6 GB or more, this space, starting from the 2 GB or 1 GB range. And SSDs, now we are coming in TBs. Okay, hard disk we are getting in TBs also, 1 TB, 2 TB we can get terabytes. So we can get this one. So this is the overview of the memory we can see here. And if I say optical disk, your CD is there, CD or DVD, you can see we have 1 GB of 4 GB, okay, and 1026 MB. If we talk about this CD, writable, rewritable. This is if we talk about here, it is a floppy, not floppy, magnetic tips of cassettes. You have seen that in that cassettes, what was happening? There was here head, the reel was tape was moving and this head was reading, that was this side it will be wrapping, from this side that tape was unwrapping. So tape recorder in that we were using, so that is having very less capacity of storage. So these are some examples of storage hierarchy that we use in the computer system as a memory. So I think a little overview I have given to you, that now you will be able to know about this one, what is actually memory. Okay, because we are going to discuss most of the things related to the memory, so to know the different types of memory. Okay, so if you have any doubt or any question in between, you may ask now, else we will go ahead. So next one is coming to the background side, program. If we talk about the program, if I am having a hard disk, okay, so hard disk, in the hard disk, suppose my program P1 is there. Okay, this is a one program P1 which is in my hard disk, HDD that we call. So operating system you have, so hard disk, the program residing in hard disk, the program cannot run in hard disk. For that, what you have to do, you have to bring that program into the RAM, that we call the random access memory or main memory or simply memory. So this program has to brought here into the RAM so that it can work here, it can process here. Okay, it can execute here. So program, we bring this from the hard disk into the main memory for processing. So main memory and registers are there. Okay, they are the only storages CPU can access directly. So what is that? If I say the location, like it is my CPU or microprocessor I am seeing, so in that CPU only you will be having different registers, R1, R2, whatever registers are there here, different types of registers I told. So CPU can directly access this one, and this can be accessed that main memory, that we call the RAM. So from this main memory or RAM we can access these things. I hope it is clear here. Directly access is there. Now coming to the how much time they will take. So memory unit, okay, only sees a stream of the addresses plus read request, or read plus address plus the data and the write request. Okay, next coming to the register access in one CPU, or what is that, less. So suppose register is there, CPU is accessing the some content from the register. So suppose this is a R1, so some content is here, suppose a R1, 2, 3, whatever. So CPU will access it. How it will access it, how much it will, they will take one CPU time, they will take, sorry, one clock cycle or CPU cycle, sorry, CPU cycle it will take, or clock cycle we can say. So in simple term, if you want to understand what is the cycle means, we have the clocks in that one round if seconds make, so second for 1 minute it takes 60 ticks. Okay, so in 1 minute how many seconds? 60 seconds is there. So these 1 minute means one clock cycle you will say for the second. Okay, so in this way we are saying, so register, if I say roughly, if I say it is taking the 1 second. Okay, if cycle is 1, then we'll say the 1 second. So, and what main memory can take many cycles causing a stall. So from main memory, if the CPU is accessing, it may take this many rounds, like one complete round. Okay, so 3 rounds means you will say 3 cycles, 3 CPU cycles. Suppose one cycle contains the 1 nanosecond, So if we'll add, so it will come 3 nanoseconds. Okay, so 3 cycles. Just roughly I am telling. So next one is the cache memory. So cache memory is also a temporary space where it speeds up the performance of the system. So it resides between the main memory. So here the main memory is there. If you see here, look here. Here we have the CPU. Here we have the main memory. Okay. So now if you see where is the place of cache memory, so it is residing between this register and this one. Okay, so in between it will be there because the frequently accessed contents will be kept in the cache memory and register will directly access it. So that is the meaning of cache sits between the main memory and the CPU registers. Okay. Next one comes the protection of the memory here required to ensure correct operation. Protection is required. Protection means in the memory we make the partitions, some divisions we make. So for that we need some protections. Okay, logical partitions or hardware is we have to have some mechanism to protect the each this area from this one and this one from this one. Okay, so for that we use two things that we call the base and the limit registers. So two registers we are using, you can say it is a hardware implementations that will keep the some value here. Okay, first one is the its pair combines the base and the limit register. Base means you can say any starting value, and limit means is the range. Okay, the length. So we can see here in terms of the CPU must check every memory access generated in user mode to be sure it is between the base and the limit for that user. If you check it, what is that? Whenever CPU runs any programs, in that what happens, CPU generates the some address. Okay, and that address range may be here that we call the logical address. Logical address they generate. Who generates? The CPU. For which purpose? For user programs, because the program will be running in the memory only, main memory or RAM. Okay, so for that they require the space. So we have to give the clear starting address and the ending address for while allocating the space for any process. So this must be done by the base as well as the limit register. So in this way what is going to happen, suppose this one I told many times in the class also, the memory whatever RAM is there, it is divided in two parts. This we call the system area. Okay, this is called the system area, means here the system programs runs. The system programs runs in the operating system only, and that is reserved for operating system processes only. No user process can run in this. And after that, this much area, this much up to here, whatever range, this is reserved. This is space given for the user programs. So we call it is a generally user space. So this user space here, all the programs that we are going to keep here, it will be here and run. Okay, now how we will make the divisions, how we will allocate the, suppose this is process 1, process 2 and this is process 3. So for all these processes, how we will allocate the location, okay, to the processes or addresses. So you can see what is the meaning of base address. Base address means you can see, think this is a base address. Base address means starting address. And next one is the limit register, means limit is up to here. This is the limit. Okay, if you make the subtraction from this 30040 and 25600, so you will get some value that will be treated as a limit. So similarly in this example we can see here, this example will make it very clear. So here what we have, 3 base register value is here, what is 300040. So this is the base register. Suppose one program is there, second program is there that want to run here. For that base register is set this one, means 30040 is the starting address or base address. So next value is their limit. So what is the limit for that? This limit register is telling my limit is up to this much, and what is the return form is 12090 is the limit. And how we got it? We got it by taking this division. So this is the range. So how we can get this value? If we get the difference from 4 to 0940, then 3000 and 40, then we will get this value. How much this one? So it will come 1209000. You may check it. So this is called the limit. So this process, whatever is there, this range can't go beyond this one. Okay, so it will be in that area, range is there. Okay, so like this we make the protection of the here protection for the operations whatever going to run here, so that they can't cross the boundary of each other. If they cross the each other, they may make the changes to the programs and codes. Okay, so this will be a problem. Okay. For that purpose we are doing this one. So this is the this much range is called the, we call it is a low memory. What we call it is a low memory address, a low memory. Because why low memory? Because the numbers here, the low numbers are there. After that you will get the high numbers. Address ranges from now, if I say we are following 6-digit number, so it will be 000, okay, 0. So this is the up to this, it is a low range addresses, so that's why we call it is a low memory. After that high addresses are there, then we will say it is a, what we will say, it is a high memory, because of they are using the high value numbers. That is the only thing. And there is a one the statement is here, operating system or system programs always runs in a low memory. Okay, so this is the just introduction of the base and the limit register. If you have any doubt, please let me know, otherwise I will go to the next. Any doubt, anything you have, you please let me know, else I will start the next slide. No doubt? Okay. So to the next one. Okay, very good. So now the same thing, it is in a diagrammatic way. If we understand, the same thing is here also. So hardware address protection, how it is done? This is the CPU. CPU has generated some address. So that address first, and this address will be the logical, or we call it is a logical address we call, or another name is we call the virtual address. We call it is a virtual address. Okay, so coming to this here, what is that? Whatever address is generated for particular process by the CPU, first it will be checked whether this address is greater than the base register or not. Okay, if it is greater than that, then it will be allowed, then that address will be allowed for the program, okay, for that particular process to go into this one. Okay, so in this way partitions are there, we had seen in the previous examples also. Okay, this type of partition. And what is this? This is called the RAM. What is that? Random access memory. So if I say here what I have, at that place I am having the, what I am here having here, the upper part that we call here, this is the low memory space. Here we keep the generally we keep the here the operating system or system programs here. Okay, rest of the part from here we use the use for the user programs. Okay, now we have found if the address is lesser than that base register's address, then what will happen? This will generate one error. It will not allow to go. Otherwise, what will happen? It may cross this area or that area, whatever. Okay, so that will make the changes in the code and data. So it will make the system malfunctioning. So for that, we allow only those base registers are greater than that one. Suppose here we have seen this base register is there. 0 is here for this operating system, base register is 0 and limit is up to this one 25600 here. Okay, so for that here we have the limit like this. Same thing we can see here if 25600, okay, this one is the here up to limit is there and it is a base register here. So we will check for this one also. For user program, the base register will be starting from this one and limit will check here. So after base register condition is it has passed, okay, it will move this side and again it has to pass through one more condition checking, and that we call the limit. So here we will add the this base register and this what limit, and we will check that whether it is less than or not. So we will check here what is here this one. So if I say here my base register is 30040 and my ending address is this one, and what is that limit this one. So what I will do, this is my address, base address. My CPU, suppose my CPU has generated some address, address is now 110, okay, sorry, okay, 110900. This is the address who generated CPU has generated. So what I will do, I will check here, same thing will check here. How we will check here? First I will check whether this is greater than the base register is there. Okay, it is greater, one condition fulfilled. Next I will check if I add this 300, that is the base register, plus this the address generated by my CPU, what was that 110900. I will add up this one. So how much I am giving? 4913, and here we'll get and 1 and 3, what is that, 2, it was 2, no? Okay, this one only, okay, and 3 1, what I am getting 4. So what is that? I got this value 411300. Now you check whatever this base plus limit, is this greater than the this value or not? It is greater than this one 420940. Which one? This value. So it is a valid address, we will allow that address, okay. So in this way there is no trap, the address will be allocated in the memory where it is located and the program will start. So I hope this is the hardware protection, okay. This is fixed. If I make the partition, we have set this one. See, in your residential place also you had seen, like this one house is this like this, okay, like this. If one in street is there, so in that street, what is that? These are the houses like H1 is there, H2, H3, H4, okay, H5 is there now. Similarly this side also. So we have our boundaries now, starting and ending like this we have now. So one neighbor crosses boundary this side. If sometimes happens now, they start quarreling. This type of situation happens now. Same thing also like this, we put the protection. So for that what we do, we make a high wall this side, so that our neighbor can't cross, or this side neighbor crosses. Like this, we protection or safety purpose we do this one, so that we can't cross to each other boundary without their permissions. So same thing is also happening, and but this is the hardware way. Hardware means physically you are keeping the boundaries there, okay. This is called the hardware address protection. So next, coming to the address binding, okay. So address binding means the labeling the address to the programs, okay, codes. So programs generally resides on the disk. So it is brought from the input queue to the to the memory that we call the main memory. So what is generally is there, if it is we are not specifying anything here to keep, so generally any program will come, it will try to occupy the space 0 0 0, okay, 0 0 0, okay, then it will go ahead like this. So like that in the room if you go, what will happen, as you entered you will take the seats. Generally it doesn't happen. What you do, our as you're in class or the human tendency is there, what they will do, they will go from back side, they will start occupying like this. If they are not getting any space, then they will come into the front page, otherwise they will not. So this is the general tendency, okay, but for operating system it is not like that. Operating system will prefer in the beginning first, okay, 0 0 place it will come and hold the place, okay. So this is the general tendency in the programs. But what is happening, what we did here, so without support it is 0 0 by default, but inconvenient to have first user space user process physical address always at 0 0, okay. So for that what we do, generally in the previous discussion I told lower memory addresses or lower memory we use for the operating system program or system program, higher addresses we use for the user programs. So like that. So what have to happen here, so addresses represented in different ways at different stages of programs life. So we have the source code addresses, usually they use the symbolic. If you are compiling the codes, you will get some compiled code, and at that time you will bind some address, you will put some address, okay, and that time we will go give the relocatable address, means later on that can be some address we have given, as per the requirement we make the changes, okay, while the relocating. So in that relative type of address we give like 14 bytes from the beginning of this modules, means suppose this I told the 14 KB of address from this, after that you use whatever space is there. The relative space we use, or this much space is required for this one. So in this way what we are doing, compile code addresses bind to relocatable addresses, means later on suppose now I am having the address starting from 500, okay, and the range is 500 to 600, okay, this much is range is there for our program. So relocatable, madam, relocatable address is there, then what we can do there, in this way, this is my address, relocatable address generated by the system at the compile time. So if my address is available only from the 2000, so what I will do in this case? No problem. Just you add up these value. So in the while running the programs, it will come 5 to 700 to it will come the 800. Okay. So what is the problem? So this is now relocated. Okay. In the compile time we have given this one, but actually it was not available, 500 not matching. My address is available from this 200 address location. So no, you add this one and you come to this range. Okay. So like this one. So linker and loaders are two components they used for they will bind the relocatable address to absolute address. Absolute means 2 I added, now this is the full address it came. If I say like this one, okay, if you go for this one, this, so this one is the absolute address. Absolute means exact address you have given for them, that actually is there in the memory. So each binding maps one address space to another. Okay, so mapping is done over the physical memory. So okay, so for that we have the binding of the instructions and the data to memory. How you will bind the instruction addresses, instructions and data to the memory? How you will do? This will also check here. You can look here how many 3 types are here. We have the compile time, okay, and we can bind this address to at the time of load time and execution. There are 3. So we'll check here. We'll try to understand. First, the literal meaning is there. If memory location known a priori, means prior you know the memory location that these spaces are free. Okay, somewhere some address is there, it is free. So no issue in that. You give the absolute code, no problem. Absolutely, you are assigned. So that can be generated. Must recompile code if starting location changes. If again it is changes, then what we have to do, you must compile code if a starting location is changes. Suppose like the previous example I told, I have added some value and got the new address. So next one is the load time. I will make with example also. So here must generate relocatable code if memory location is not known at the compile time. I am not aware where is the exact location, what is my memory. So what I will do at the time of loading, I will assign, not now. That we call the relocatable. And execution time we have seen binding delayed until runtime if the process can be moved. We have chance to move the process okay during its execution from one memory segment to the another. So these are. So now we'll check this real example of compile time, the binding of the addresses. So what happens here? One example is the railway reservation. Okay, you are going for some trip or somewhere, so you have to make the reservation. Okay, what you will ticket, you will go for reservation and you will book one ticket. So what you will do, a train ticket you are going to book, or train ticket. So in this case what happens, when you have booked a ticket, what will happen, you will get one ticket. Okay, if it is confirmed, if it is confirmed, what you will get, you will get the different information like train number, what is the train number, starting time, end time, the departure time, arrival time, departure time. Okay, the boarding location. Okay, and the destination where you are reaching. After that you will be getting the coach number, train number, coach number. After that, in that, seat number. Okay, so you will get the seat number also. So what is that? Suppose you got 25th seat. Okay, so if you got 25th seat, so what is that? At the time of journey, what you will do, your ticket is confirmed. Okay, you have to go to that station, catch that train at the what is the time of arrival there. Then you will get into the train and you will search for, you will get into that train and you have to search for the particular coach, and you have to search for that seat, that is the 25th. Because 25th is absolute, it is assigned to you, confirmed everything, there is no confusion. You have to go there, 25th is reserved for you, you go there. So that is called here this one compile time. Okay, so here the seats is reserved. Same time in the memory also, whatever program is there, the seat or you can the address for the program is affixed that time only. Next, coming to the load time. So in the load time, what will happen? It is not like the train ticket reservations, it is something else. If we take the example of flight ticket reservation, flight ticket. So in that, what happens, when you book a flight ticket, you will get confirmed ticket. Okay, your ticket is confirmed. Confirmed ticket you will get, but still your seat is not assigned. Okay, your seat is not allocated to you. So what will happen after that, when you are going here, like here seat 25th is fixed, but here it won't come. Here you will get the confirmed seat number allocation only when you are boarding into the okay flight, and you will get a boarding pass. What you will get? You will get a boarding pass. When you will get the boarding pass, in that boarding pass your seat will be written like 27. Okay, 22A, 27A, like this you will get this seat. So what had happened actually? Load time you got this one, not in the at the time of booking your ticket. One seat is reserved for you, but actual on which seat you will be sitting and while the traveling, it is was decided what time? Boarding time only. That will be printed in the boarding pass. Okay, I think this example now it is clear for that. So next one is the execution time. Again, there is one more possibility is there. So here binding, address binding here, it is the delayed until the runtime. Okay, if the process can be moved during its execution from one memory segment to the another. So meaning of that, okay, you are traveling in the what is that, in the flight. What happened? Two persons are there here, okay, from the same family members. They booked the ticket. What happened? The person P1 and P2, one person got seat here and another person got somewhere here. The seat is here. Okay, so P2 here got, and suppose P1 is mother of P2 and she is not feeling well or some help she is required, and but this seat is allocated to some person 3. So what they will do in the run time? Okay, seat everything confirmed, now we came here, but what will happen at the execution time, in at the time of travel, what they will, he came to this person, he asked, he requested, please you come at my seat, okay, and I will sit here because my mother needs my help. So what they did, actually at the run time, at the execution time, these seat or addresses was here now fixed. So now actually P2 will sit here and P3 here sit. So what had happened? One memory segment to another segment, the moment had happened. So this is the three ways of binding of the instruction and data to the memory. The first one is the compile time, another one is the load time, and third one is the which one, that is the execution time. Okay, so for here what we need the hardware support for address maps, e.g. example is the base and the limit registers, and the story of the base and the limit register I told previously. I hope now up to this clear. So same thing, if you see here the programs, you can look here, this is very similar to your C++ programming that you have seen in the C program, how the compilation, what are the steps. First you will take any notepad or any text editor, in that you will write the source program, you will compile. Okay, compile time, object files are created, then some of the other modules are there, so you will make the linking over that. Then what you will do, you have to load those modules. So here the place of your linker is playing role, here loader is playing role. So this loader will take the, it will load into the main memory, but how, the whatever the system libraries it requires, it will also add up with this one. Okay, and that's why this time is called the load time, this is called the compile time, means the time taken by the these modules to perform this task. And in that, when it comes into the memory, then what will happen, this execution, here the runtime is there or execution time is there, because here the program is running. So in memory binary memory image. Okay, here also dynamically loaded system libraries at the runtime, whatever the supported libraries, system libraries required, it will be added and linked. It will be linked there. So we here also we have the static linking and the dynamic linking of these system libraries also we see this. Okay, coming to the next one, what is the logical and physical address space? Now I think a little information I have given, what is meaning of this for logical and physical. Okay, physical address means you can think that you have the memory. So say for the memory size is 1 GB. So you will be having the starting from this 0001 whatever, and it will get up to the 1020, what is that, 1024 MB. So what is this? And here for that we will be having the addresses here. For that every addresses are here mapped into the physical device, we call it is a random access memory. So this is the physical existence is there. Those locations are there where it is free or filled with some data, but they will be kept in some particular locations only. Like you can treat in your classrooms, what we have the benches where you sit, and you uh, study in the classroom. So all those three you can see in the benches what we have the here three persons can they sit here, okay, like this they can sit here. So what are these are the locations where they sit. So this type of arrangement are there. You will sit here, not here. It is a you will sit here. Okay, you will keep your all those stuffs, bag and copies here, like this, huh? So what will happen actually? So same way the structures are also maintained in the memory where the data will be kept into the form of the signals or in the form of the 0 1. Okay. So this had happened. Okay, so this we call here whatever addressing in the RAM is there, physical RAM, that we call what we call it is a physical address, physically addressed. Okay, so if in your room also na some room number, plot number, everything it is there. So what is that? That is also a physical addressing. Now coming to the logical address. So logical address is generated by the CPU. Okay, and we also call it is a suppose 1020 this address generated by the CPU, will call it is a logical address or virtual address we call it. Okay, so logical address generated by CPU, physical address generally we seen in the memory. It's also called the virtual address. So logical and physical addresses are the same in the compile time. There is no difference, and load time addresses binding schemes, okay, as well. And logical or virtual and physical address differ in the execution time. Why? Because at that time actually the seating and everything happens. So logical address space is the set of all logical addresses generated by a program, and physical is the all physical addresses generated by a program in the for the memory. So you can see these two things. So here the very important component of the operating system is there that we call the MMU. Is the memory management unit. This memory management is a plays very key role. What it does, it tracks all the free memories, whatever locations are free and what are the locations that are already occupied by some process. This keeps the track of everything. Okay, because next time when the program will come for execution, okay, so it will have to tell it has to assign the space for that. So this one is there, this register now here will take as a relocation register because we are going to relocate this at another place based on the availability of the addresses. So this is the memory management unit that is playing a role. We'll see the other detailed discussion about the memory management in the next class because our time is now getting over. So what we'll do, we will go